Thanks for joining me as I explore some fall decor ideas for Halloween. Welcome to the Chic Show. Halloween Town is hosted by Up All Night DIY and Shabby Meets Bling. Our guest host is Crafting with Indiana Jones. Their channels are listed in the description box below along with the playlist. For this first project, I'm using 6 pages from an old book. This is a book that I got at Habitat for Humanity for 25 cents. I punched 2 holes at the top of each page, and then I'm using some silk screen transfers from Chalk Couture. I have 3 transfers and I'm making 2 of each. Once I have all 6 of them done and they're dry, I'm using some black ribbon and I'm just lacing that through the holes. This is a very simple but elegant Halloween banner. I found this little ceramic shoe at a thrift store for maybe 25 cents and I gave it a coat of Waverly Chalk Paint ink. To me, this looks like a little tiny witch's shoe. Now I'm going to be taking some gold rub and buff and I'm putting it on my finger and I'm just rubbing it over all of the details to make them stand out. I added a little tiny witch's broom and a tiny pumpkin, and this was perfect for this little vignette. I bought this little wooden cat at a thrift store and it's supposed to sit on top of books or hang off a ledge. So I finished giving it a coat of white chalk paint on the front and I'm going to be using this decoupage paper. I don't remember, I think it's a masterboard, I'm not sure, but it is by Rustic decoupage paper. And I'm just going to use liquid patina to place this onto the front of the cat. I did set this aside to dry, and I did end up going back and cutting off some of the excess paper before I went through with my finger sander. Now the finger sander does not fit into all of these little nooks and crannies, so I used an emery board, and then in other places I just used my scissors. I did go back with my black chalk paint and just made some touch-ups along the edges. A perfect little Halloween cat for your Halloween vignettes. Cannot let Halloween go by without making an oyster shell jack-o'-lantern. So this one seemed to have the perfect mouth for a jack-o'-lantern, so I'm going to be painting the inside with orange chalk paint. Actually, it's Pumpkin by Waverly, and I'm going to leave that little black spot. Every shell has one of these little spots. I don't know what they're called. If you know what they're called, leave me a comment, so I'm sure there's a name for it. This did take a couple of coats of the orange paint, and I did go back and clean up that little boo-boo that I made in the mouth. And then I used a pencil to draw on my jack-o'-lantern face, and I'm using that paint pen again to go back and color it in. I also decided to go ahead and color in the mouth area just so it would match the eyes and the nose. I used my miter shears to cut a little stem for my pumpkin. I just used hot glue to attach my stem to the top of the pumpkin, and then I just held it in place until it set up. And to finish him off, I used some triple thick to paint on the inside and some gold paint to paint around the edges. You could use black around the edges if you'd like, or even orange, but I like the gold because I like the finish that it gives and gives it a little bit of a higher end look. This is a liquid gold paint that I'm using just a cheap brush with, because whatever brush you use with it will be ruined, so you don't want to use a really good brush. This is a cute little ring dish or jewelry dish, or you could drill a hole and make it an ornament. I thrifted a couple of these wood chunky pieces that somebody had already DIY'd, and I tried to remove all the paper and I just couldn't get it off, so I decided just to use the back. So I gave it all one coat of orange chalk paint, and then I'm rubbing around the edges with my candle wax so that the next coat of paint won't stick to those places and will give it kind of a rustic look. I'm going to go back with a light coat, a messy coat really, of Waverly chalk paint in ink. That dried, I used my Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin again just to paint a messy coat onto the top of the block. And once again, using my black paint pen, I'm drawing on that pumpkin face or that jack-o'-lantern face and coloring it in. Now I can embellish it with a little bit of Spanish moss and that pumpkin stem. Don't forget that down in the description box are the links to our host channels. I hope you'll go check them out along with the playlist. I'll leave another video right here that I think you might like. Be sure and check it out. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.